Thomas's path into the war was a winding one, repeatedly oscillating between his resolve to enlist and his crippling reservations. He finally enlisted in July 1915, just over a year after the outbreak of war. His attitude towards war itself was complicated. He wrote in November 1914 that he did not pretend to be warlike, but could not justify not making an effort. The idea of warfare troubled him. His letters from early 1915 document his hatred of it. "I hate crowds, I hate uncertainty, so naturally, I hate the idea of being in the army in any capacity." Yet Thomas was never entirely pacifistic. His justifications for making an effort avoided jingoistic patriotism. Instead, as Jan Marsh notes, his patriotic response to the war effort was not towards his country so much as towards the country, the landscape. The land he held so dear was threatened by doing nothing, and Thomas's final resolution to enlist can partly be attributed to his realisation, which he vocalised in This England, that England was not mine unless I were willing and prepared to die rather than leave it. Eleanor Fargen noted in her account that when she asked Thomas why he had enlisted, he stopped and picked up a pinch of earth, literally for this. Though he resolved many times to enlist to defend this land, in order to do so, he still needed to muster the courage he considered himself so lacking in. He admired that so many men in a civilised age are capable of this kind of extravagant courage and endurance, yet he could not bring himself to until mid-1915.
This depiction of Edward becomes ever so more remarkable when compared to the Edward Thomas described in the condolence letters written by Lushington and Horton, which are found in the archive and were sent to Helen after his death. From these, we can clearly see how Thomas was an authoritative and father-like figure to the younger men in his regiment, for a Major Rushington writes how we all looked up to him as the kind of father of our happy family. Also in Lushington's letter, he describes Thomas's death as a gallant death for a true and gallant gentleman. This incredible transformation from Thomas as lacerated by a despairing sense of defeat, of self-abasement, of personal failure as a father, husband, man and writer, to someone described by Captain Horton as always so cheerful, and as the kind of father in our happy family by Lushington, the effect of the war on Thomas allowed him to achieve self-fulfilment and prove to himself all the things he refused to believe he was capable of.
While the reason for Thomas's decision to enlist continues to be deliberated, what cannot be doubted is the escape that war offered him from his suffering. Hollis suggests the routine of army training lifted the misery he had experienced at home and afforded Thomas time to write his poetry. In the year Thomas remained a member of the Artist Rifles stationed in Essex, he produced 59 poems. In his last letter, sent to Frost from the front, dated the 2nd of April, Thomas wrote, "I'm glad I came out. I thought I should. I doubt if anyone here thinks less of home than I do." While a letter from Helen, written a month after Thomas's death to her close friend Janet Houghton, reads, "The very last letter I had from him was written the day before death came, and it was bubbling with happiness and eagerness and love." The sentiments explored in his letters to friends and family often appeared explicitly in his diary. The private diary Thomas kept for the last 3 years of his life can therefore offer great insight. The thought processes and jottings it presents match the state of mind of a man, as Thornburn puts it, with strength of character, not those of a man in despair, the image painted by the letters of those closest to him before his death. This is echoed in many of the condolence letters that Helen received after Thomas's demise. One such letter, written by Thornburn, reads, "Thomas got on splendidly, magnificently in the army." Thomas emerges from his diary as a good soldier with a quiet courage to meet the essentials of military duty. This, twinned with the condolence letters of Lushington, Horton and Thornburn, presents not the Thomas who began his war journey as a shy, melancholy man, but the one who emerged as an influencing figure with the courage and quick wit of any soldier role model.